the the kingdom of heaven that you've heard about, that people talk about. I want to go to heaven. Be good in this lifetime, and maybe one day you'll get to go to heaven. People tell their kids. The kingdom of heaven is not a geographical location. The kingdom of heaven is a vibrational level. It's a higher level of vibration. We said a few talks ago that everything in the universe is vibrating. Everything has a vibrational level. I have a level, you have a level. The chair you're sitting in has a vibrational level. It vibrates. The coffee table in your living room, the desk, maybe you're sitting at a desk, the table you're at, the wood, the actual surface, everything has a vibrational level. Emotions do too, the human emotions. So the kingdom of heaven is not some place you can go, it's a vibrational level that you can achieve. Christ said, what I have, you can have also, and more. He downplayed what he was able to do. And the attraction that a lot of people had for him was that he existed on a higher vibrational level. Why? Because he self-observed. He really self-observed. He raised his own level to a degree that people could see it. He raised his own level to the point that, remember when he said, I have brought a sword. I've brought a sword not to fight. He wasn't going to fight with that sword, but to cleave people from me, to cleave like a meat cleaver, like a heavy, the rectangular shaped blade on a meat cleaver. They're heavy. They weigh a couple of pounds. Whack. The cleaver's made to cut through bone, knuckle, joints of big animals, hogs, pigs, cows, whatever, hacking through with the cleaver. I brought a sword not to fight, but to cleave people from me, to cut people from me. Remember, his own mother wouldn't let go of him. And he was like, hey, I've got work to do, right? I have important work to do. I have the work of my father to do. So I brought a sword. So, he knew that. He knew he'd have to, that people, they wanted to be part of him so much that they would even hold on to his robe, touch him, do anything they could to get near that higher vibrational energy. And of course, the exact same higher level that he was uh, cast out a whole bunch of other people and made him a target to a whole bunch of other people that we've already discussed. So let's go through the emotions again. We're going to start with the low and then go to the high. And they're low emotions, they're painful emotions, because these emotions, like everything else, they vibrate at lower levels. Shame, the human emotion of shame, vibrates at the lowest level. Anything lower than shame means you're physically dead. Shame, guilt vibrates at a slightly higher level, slightly more vibrations per second, per minute than shame. So guilt feels bad, but it's not as bad as shame. Apathy is next above guilt. Grief, fear, when you're afraid, you're vibrating at a low emotional level. It's painful to be afraid. It's not pleasant. That's not a pleasing emotion. Desire, anger, resentment, jealousy, pride, all of those are the painful emotions. And there's others in that mix too, but those are the main ones. Then other emotions are offshoots to those. We already heard in previous talks, courage is the middle point. You find some courage to break out, to finally see the pain in the lower emotions. This is why you want to self-observe, so you know not only what your thoughts are saying, you're observing yourself, but you're also seeing the emotions as they come up. As you study your emotions, you're able to see the pain in those emotions, and you'll say, oh, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna entertain the emotion of guilt anymore. Why would I do that? It's a painful emotion. Why would I entertain guilt? You know, so courage, neutrality, and then here we come, and here come the pleasing. These are pleasant emotions. These emotions feel good. And we don't get to the good feeling emotions very often, do we? Courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance. I'm accepting things. I'm letting things be as they are. Whatever is happening, I'm observing it, and I'm using that to wake up. The barking dog I mentioned, the neighbor's barking dog. Okay, I can't stop that dog from barking, but I can notice how it upsets the false self. And in that noticing, I'm breaking free of that pain. It causes pain, but the pain is only to my false self. So in the noticing, I become free of the lowness of the false self. It's the false self that feels the pain of that dog barking, that doesn't like it, doesn't want it. The true self couldn't care less about a barking dog. It's just part of it. So acceptance, the true self can accept a barking dog, and hey, that's just part of life. That poor dog. I hope that dog gets what he needs, because the dog is barking for some reason. It's lonely, anxious, fearful, hungry, cold, tired, wet, whatever. Something is making that dog not happy. I hope that poor animal gets what it needs, right? So that, and then above the emotion of acceptance, what a beautiful emotion that would be, to experience acceptance. Reason is even, if you look at those two words, reason is even a more fine emotion than acceptance. Love. Finally, we get to the emotion of love. People say all the time, oh, I love you. I love you. There's a truth teacher who he used to tell his students, he said, quote, I don't ever want you to say the word love until you know personally what it means. And so what was he telling them? He was saying, until you yourself, by way of self-observation, vibrate at a frequency, a level that is equal to the level of the human emotion of love, until you yourself are at that level by way of moment-to-moment impartial self-observation, I forbid you to use the word love, because you're not at that level. And because you're not at that level, but you're saying the word, I love you, first off, you're lying, because you don't love them, because you're not at the level of love. You can't love anything until you're at that level. And that doesn't make total sense. That was never explained to me ever. You just heard people say that. Well, I love you, and I love. And the teacher went on to explain that people will say that because whatever the other person is giving them, they want that to continue. So to make that continue, whatever it is, maybe they cook for them, maybe they pay the rent, whatever, maybe it's a spouse, and one spouse is trying to placate the other and say, oh, I love you, honey, bye. It's just, it's a mechanical habit. So I want you to continue doing what you're doing, whatever it is. Maybe you do the laundry, whatever. I love you and I want you to keep doing that. So to manipulate you and to keep doing that, I will put up this facade. I will tell you something that I am incapable of. If I'm not capable of loving something, why am I telling somebody I love you? I'm not at that level. It's more like, more accurately would be, I I have I feel shame for you. I feel guilty about what I've done to you. I am apathetic toward you. I have grief toward you. I'm afraid of you. I mean, those are more accurate on the emotional level that you and I occupy. I fear you. I desire you. Okay, yeah. You know, you're going out on a hot date. You're 20 years old and you got a hot date, and okay, I desire you. That's how it is. You know, young people desire each other a lot. Nature wants babies. So nature gives that to us, puts that in us so that we're procreating, so that the race can continue. I have anger toward you. I have resentment. You know, all of those are much closer to home, much closer to the actual reality of where we are. I am jealous of you. You know, a friend of mine, his wife got a great job, much better than his job, and he was explaining how, you know, it made him feel kind of diminished. But he said, yeah, but then he laughed it off and he said, yeah, but we'll take the money. You know, I can live with this because she's making the money, apparently a lot more than him. But he was, in a way, he was jealous of his wife. Okay, isn't that much more accurate than saying, I love you? See, because love is way up there compared to where you and I are emotionally right now. Our emotional level. Um, so yeah, notice the pain in the lower emotions. Okay, then back to the pleasing emotions: courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, happiness. Okay, we finally got to happiness. There's a book on the website. It's called The Happiness Habit. It's the habit of how to become happy. You habituate the practice of moment to moment impartial self observation. You're observing yourself in action, and you're doing so impartially, meaning you're not judging what you see. Anger flares up. You're not saying, "Oh, I'm a bad person. There goes my anger again." You're not saying me to it either, because you're not identifying with that anger. That anger is just there. But one day, if you keep this up, the anger will not be there. You'll see the pain in anger and in expressing anger, and you'll notice it. In the noticing, when you, instead of acting on it, you simply notice it, you're free. That's freedom, when you see an emotion come up and you simply just see it. The When the people say, see it, don't be it. Don't be it. Don't fall into it and express that emotion. Just watch it arise. And in the watching, you watch it and watch it and watch it. And over your months of study and even years, those lower emotions will diminish, because you will be raising your level without even knowing it. Your emotional level will raise. See, and then you will get up to the higher parts. And that's where Christ, Buddha, a handful of people were there. You can attain that also. What they had, you can have also in this lifetime now, not in the future. The kingdom of heaven is not a geographical location. The kingdom of heaven is a vibrational level. You can, if you work on yourself hard enough, diligently enough, sincerely enough, you know, on a regular basis, you learn how to self-observe as you go through your day. you can get to that higher level. You really can. And that's the only way that you can wave goodbye, so to speak, to the lower emotions and then experience the higher, more pleasing emotions. Let's go through them. So it's courage is the point where I say, okay, my way is terrible. I'm going to try something new. Okay, courage is that medium between the pain of the lower emotions and the pleasure of the higher emotions. It all starts with courage. Neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, happiness, contentment, similar to happiness, similar. Joy, right? You know, during the holidays, you'll hear the songs "Joy to the World." Wouldn't that be nice? The level of joy, if people actually experience joy, if people were not fighting, the proof that human beings that we love the lower states, the lower emotions, the proof that we love that because we love the vibration of we're vibrating at a lower level, and the proof of that we love those states and we're convinced there's nothing higher than that is that we fight. Fighting is fighting anger, fear. There's fear in fighting. There's anger in fighting. That's all low level. That's low vibrational level. The best thing to do, anyone's ever angry with you, is, oh, I apologize. Keep walking. Get out of the area. Go somewhere. Go off and be with yourself somewhere. Get away from that angry person. Don't engage. If they're going to be angry, if that's their state, let them do that. You have nothing to prove to that person. Walk away. Walk away. That's how you win. Do not engage, because if you engage, you're going to get hurt, and it'll hurt you on a vibrational level. You'll get stuck at that low level of anger. Okay. Yeah, this is real. And isn't self-observation, now that you see it that way, you're like, oh yeah, this can actually end my suffering. This can end my pain. This can end it. So doesn't that make self-observation as practical as bread? As practical as a chair. I'm going to sit in a chair. It's designed perfectly for the human body. I can sit in the chair. That's the way my body, I sit down and the chair is formed perfectly. A chair is extremely practical. Bread is extremely practical. Gives you something to eat. It's a practical thing. Make it with flour, yeast, and a little bit of oil, I think, and water. And you bake it. It's practical. So self-observation is extremely practical for you to learn how to do this. And it helps, and it saves your entire life. Every aspect of your life will be positively affected by self-observation. So acceptance, reason, love, happiness, contentment, joy, peace, enlightenment. And bliss is also in there too. And that's where the Christ and Buddha and a few people have actually attained the higher state. And it's not a geographic location, it's a vibrational level. And how do you raise your level from experiencing the lower emotions to where you experience nothing but the higher is by way of moment to moment impartial self-observation. Okay. So that's we've done pretty well. I think we've pretty much covered quite a bit. We got into the higher teachings of Christianity. in previous, last 3 or 4 talks in this series, even we got into that. It's all pretty good. A lot of that is brand new information to most of us. So you are your emotional state. That's flat out why Scripture says, "Make no friends with an angry man." Someone expresses anger, part company. Don't get involved. Don't argue with that person. That person will come at you. Somebody's angry. Don't get involved. Stay away for your own good. We're talking about the health of your inner state. You're here to raise your emotion, not lower it, not get stuck in lower levels. Maybe you share a house. Maybe you live under the same roof as someone who's negative, dark, suffers from these bad emotions. I can't tell you what to do. I've experienced that, and it's no fun. And I felt better every time I left that situation and went and did my own thing again. Just part company is what I did. And that's all I can say on that. But low people will drain you. Narcissists will drain you. Okay, and we're going to be getting into narcissism too, quite heavily. Something to look forward to then. We're going to get into it because narcissists, bottom line on them is they cannot and do not regulate their own emotions. Something happened to them as children and they never developed the ability to regulate their own emotions. So they put it on the exterior. That's why narcissists are they tend to be control freaks. They demand, they must have external control or they literally cannot breathe. They have to have people doing certain exact things all the time, and thou shalt not deviate. No one can get out of their little routine or role that the narcissist has them in. And the narcissist always has to be number one. I have to be in charge. I must be in charge. There's another characteristic of narcissism. We're going to get into that because these are people and they're out there and they are legion. They're by the billions. They populate this world. You have them in your family, among your friends, at work, maybe your children, maybe your spouse. They're out there. And they can't regulate their own emotions. So they try to regulate then everybody else. Then they put onto you, you're supposed to be responsible for their emotions. And these are people who have outbursts, not all of them, but the bad ones, the bad narcissists, the malignant narcissists, they are as angry as an active volcano. And their lava, when they explode, goes everywhere, including landing on you and burning you. Yeah, if you've ever experienced the unpleasantness of a malignant narcissist, you're lucky. But I'm warning you, they are out there. See how important it is that we learn to see our own emotions and see the pain in the lower ones and simply observe them as they arise and do nothing about it. See it, but don't be it. Just observe it. And in time, with effort, observing what goes through me, what comes up emotionally in me, I slowly raise my level. As I raise my vibrational level, I feel better and better and better because the higher emotions exist at a higher vibrational level than the lower emotions. And it's the higher vibrations are much more pleasing to us human beings. And look what nature did. I mean, isn't that a wonderful thing? Nature built it into us. Nature put it into us and said, I want you to be happy. And Christ came here to say, here's how you get happy. And they didn't like that too much, did they? They didn't want people getting happy, did they? Of course not. They had too much vested interest in people remaining as pained and in as much suffering as they were. The organized religionists did not want the people of Christ's day to awaken. That's the last thing they wanted. They didn't want Christ influencing them at all, the people at all. See? Because then the people would not need the religious leaders, the powers that be. Wouldn't need them. If they listened to Christ and then applied what they heard, which is the topic of another talk that you and I should do. The application of this is vital. If my house needs to be painted, I can go to Home Depot and buy 15 gallons of paint. I can buy gallons, or I can buy 3 fivers of the actual paint that I need. But until I start painting the wall, the house is not going to get painted. I can load up on material, but I need to apply the paint. And we'll be getting into that too. The actual application. You apply this work by self-observing, by watching yourself in action, by observing yourself as you go through your day. From the moment you get up out of bed and you're standing there, okay, a new day has begun, and you walk through your bedroom, and okay, I feel my feet on the floor, on the carpet, the rug. I'm walking through the hall into the restroom. Now I'm walking into the living room, into the kitchen, into the office. Okay. Now I'm stepping into the shower. I'm watching myself. I'm observing myself. Self-observation does not get in the way of anything. It enhances everything that you do, including communicating with other people. You bring self-observation with you into the office, into your work day, and you're gonna work so well, so effortlessly, so quickly, like a hot knife through butter. And that's what Christ promised. Put ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be given unto you. Because cosmic energy, the universe itself, is now working with you, because your energy is going in the right way and you're finally doing the right thing. The universe notices that, and it comes in and it supports you and it helps you. Unbelievable. What have we discovered? What have we discovered? The kingdom of heaven is a vibrational level. It's a higher vibrational level that you can attain. I'll see you on the next one.